It goes without saying that Razer is a gaming brand through and through. For gamers, by gamers. They make accessories, peripherals, systems, you name it. They are well known for gaming and that's what they are best at. But recently, they have also started to dip their toes into the other side of the market, which is arguably far larger as well. Productivity. So today let's take a look at some of the accessories and peripherals that Razer has in store that's part of this ecosystem that they are trying to build. And it may or may not be what you're looking for. There's a total of 3 things that we have on the table today. The first will be a wireless mechanical keyboard, and that's the Pro Type Ultra. To accompany that, we also have a wireless mouse, the Pro Click Mini, which is basically a smaller, slimmed down version of the Pro Click that was released quite a while back. And lastly, we have the Pro Glide in the XXL size, which is more of a desk mat rather than a mouse mat. This complements and finishes the entire setup. I've been using all of them for about a couple of months now, and I have to say that my experience has been quite interesting to say the least. Of course, there's pros and cons. So let's talk about this entire Pro setup. Let's first talk about the Pro Click Mini because this is arguably my favorite thing out of everything that we are going to talk about today. Compared to its older sibling, the Mini features a far more compact body and overall shape and utilizes a symmetrical design. If you're comfortable with the Orochi V2 from Razer themselves or the MX Anywhere 3 from Logitech, this will feel right at home. I'm also quite liking the really clean and minimal design. The overall use of white is really soothing on the eyes and it's really well complemented with the use of grey and silver accents. Now, because of its size, fingertip grip would definitely be my recommendation here, though you can also use a claw grip to a certain extent. Palm grip on the other hand is almost certainly out of the question. The symmetrical design also means you can use this with either hand, no issues at all. Though to note, it isn't really fully ambidextrous as the additional side buttons are only located on the left side of the mouse. With that said, the main buttons and that scroll wheel are probably the 2 things that I really like on the Mini. The mouse features silent mechanical mouse switches and it's just really awesome. Seriously, take a listen. They are almost practically silent as compared to many other mice out there, especially gaming mice. But yet, they don't feel mushy at all. It's just a nice combination of tactility and softness which I really enjoy. It really makes it the perfect mouse, especially if you're at work. You're no longer going to annoy your co-worker right beside you or even those whom you're talking to in a video call. It really is just great. The scroll wheel is also really nice as it allows you to switch between free spin mode or tactile mode via the use of the toggle switch right on top. It also does feature tilt functionality which might be useful for some of you who frequently utilize such a function. Now, my personal choice is to go tactile and it feels just about right. Not too strong, but not too light. And it isn't too loud either, but of course, it's your choice. If you go free spin mode, well, it's almost as silent as the mouse button itself. Performance-wise, this isn't going to disappoint. There are sizable PTFE mouse feet on the bottom which ensures really smooth gliding movements and the optical sensor enables up to 12,000 dpi. Thus far, I have no issues with the performance and it's great for really anything you would want to do with it. Documents, general browsing, and to that extent, even casual gaming. And yes, that is my experience with it either on hyperspeed or Bluetooth. Speaking of which, battery life is one of the other main deciding factors when it comes to a mouse like the Mini. But this is also a point of debate for this very mouse. Open up the magnetic top cover and this is where you'll find slots for 2 AA batteries as well as the compartment to keep the hyperspeed dongle. Now I'm glad to say that it's been almost 2 months since I've got this and I've been using it pretty much almost daily. I've yet to change the batteries and I'm using it on hyperspeed no less. Razer claims up to 725 hours on Bluetooth and up to 465 hours on hyperspeed. Clearly, I'm nowhere near that number. But yes, this uses AA batteries, which some of you might be conflicted about because you're more environmentally conscious or simply because you prefer a built-in battery rather than replaceable ones. Personally, I'm kind of okay with using AA batteries, but I do suggest getting rechargeable ones, so at the very least you're helping the environment just a little. If you do keep a spare in your bag, well, when this run out of juice, you can basically reload the mouse and you'll eliminate any downtime, if any. But there is still one main con with using AA batteries, and that's the weight. With 2 batteries, this mouse comes in at 111 grams, which is pretty heavy. But one cool thing that Razer implemented is that you can use the mouse with just a single AA battery. If you do so, you can reduce the weight to just about 88 grams. Of course, the caveat will basically be half the battery life instead. And that's about it for the Pro Glide Mini. Honestly, it's a really awesome mouse, and I make sure that I have it everywhere when I bring my Surface laptop with me. It's just that great. But now let's talk about this, the Pro Type Ultra. This is a full-size wireless mechanical keyboard, and the overall design is really slick and minimalistic, just like the Pro Glide Mini. The main body is made using hard plastics with a pretty nice textured finish, while the top is a single piece of aluminum which also acts as a plate for the switches. On the bottom, you do get 6 rubber feet, which ensures the keyboard doesn't budge at all when placed on the desk, and you also get flip-out feet, which will offer an inclination of 6 degrees and 9 degrees respectively. Near the edge is also where you'll find a compartment to keep the hyperspeed dongle should you not be using it. Apart from that, you get a USB-C port and a toggle switch between Bluetooth, wired and hyperspeed on the right side of the keyboard. Talking about the keycaps, they are white in color and made of ABS plastic. These are really standard keycaps and they aren't particularly amazing or anything. They do however feature a soft touch coating which does make it feel a little bit more like PBT more so than ABS. My main gripe however with the keycaps are the quality of the legends. Some of the legends are right smack center aligned, which is great, but most of them are off center and you can clearly tell, especially more so with the white backlighting turned on. And compared to their double shot ABS keycaps, the secondary functions don't light up. It just isn't great, especially for what it's supposed to be. What's great however is the addition of a wrist rest. It features a soft leatherette cushion and it really does make the typing experience quite a lot more comfortable. Now it doesn't attach to the keyboard magnetically but rather just slides into place. Not too much of an issue because it complements the look of the keyboard, and thanks to the 6 huge rubber feet, it really doesn't budge at all. Now let's talk about switches, and the only switch offering for the Pro Type Ultra are the Razer yellow switches. Now I've covered these switches a little more in depth with my review of the Black Widow V3 Mini Hyperspeed. So if you want to know more, you can check out the review up in the card above or in the description down below. But in essence, the Razer yellow switches are basically fast linear switches. The Razer yellows have an actuation force of 45 grams, an actuation point of just 1.2mm, and a total travel distance of 3.5mm. And this is how they sound like on the Pro Type Ultra. Overall, they sound pretty great and are smooth to operate, though of course, the stabilizers, those definitely need more work as usual. But now let's talk about battery life, because after all, this is a wireless mechanical keyboard. Razer claims up to 214 hours on Bluetooth and up to 207 hours on hyperspeed, which was quite surprising to me in a way because I thought Bluetooth would give way more battery life, but that is not the case here. No surprises, the keyboard lasted roughly what Razer claims. If you like your keyboard with lights on however, battery life takes a huge hit. With lights on full brightness, the keyboard barely lasted 14 hours of use. So if this is your preference, well, I'll definitely suggest leaving it plugged in. In general, the Pro Type Ultra is pretty great. It's comfortable to use and it looks really minimalistic and clean. I'm personally not a fan of a full-size keyboard because I don't like how much space it takes up and I don't use a numpad, but I see why this is needed given the nature of the goal, that being productivity. But if Razer can release a TKL version in the future, well, that would be pretty awesome. And last but not least, let's talk about this, the Pro Glide. There's really nothing much to talk about this, it's just really smooth and great to use. Depending on desk setup, it'll complement really nicely. We have the XXL variant here, but if you want something way smaller, there's a standard medium size as well, meant just for your mouse. My only gripe is that the edges aren't weaved to prevent fraying in the future, but apart from that, it's just a standard everyday mouse or desk mat. To sum everything up, well, let's talk about price. The Pro Click Mini comes in at $80 or about 130 Singapore dollars. For the price, I honestly do think that it's great and definitely worth taking a look at. As for the Pro Type Ultra, that will set you back $160 or about 250 Singapore dollars. This is definitely a tougher sell, and I personally do think it's overpriced for what it offers. As for the Pro Glide, it's $30 or 46 Singapore dollars for the XXL variant. Overall, the Productivity Suite from Razer does offer a little something different from their usual lineup of gaming-oriented peripherals. The Pro Click Mini is definitely my favorite and a really easy recommendation. But as for the rest, well, that's up for you to decide for yourself. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to, do check out the affiliate links in the description as well. If you do, thanks for your support. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Till the next one. See ya!